Good afternoon. Getting on here. Hopefully some of my athletes will be jumping on here in a second. For those of you who don't know, I'm a fitness trainer and putting up advice and motivational ideas for athletes, whether they train with me or train with other people. Hey, that's okay. Have you been working out, Debbie? If you're working out, you're going to be building muscle, and muscle weighs more than fat, so don't let that bother you, okay? One thing I'd like to see you do, Debbie, every morning when you get up, I want you to make up your mind what your day is going to be like. Make up your mind that you're going to have an awesome day, and then get on the scale. So whatever the number is, you've already made up your mind you're going to have a kick-ass day, okay? So 1 kilo here, 1 kilo there. As long as the trend over time is going down, you're making progress. So don't let one day throw you. Don't let that throw you and make you upset. Because you know what your vision is. You've already made a ton of progress. And let's just keep moving forward. Because one little setback like that, in the grand scheme of things, means nothing. Emotionally, the stronger you can get emotionally, the stronger you're going to be both towards getting your goals and everything. Yeah, don't let it upset you. Because you've made a ton of progress. Yeah, it's not easy, but you've done a lot of work to get where you are, and you're going to keep moving forward, okay? So I'm getting on today. I really had nothing, but I want to be consistent. I'm like, well, there's a subject right there, consistency. So Debbie right now, I just made friends with her a couple days ago. She's lost over 10 kilos, which for us in the United States, that's 22 pounds. That's a pretty significant weight loss. She jumped on the scale today, and maybe she had a meal before she jumped on the scale. Maybe she didn't go to the bathroom before she jumped on the scale. So it may look like she's actually put on weight, but I want her to focus more on the progress that she's made rather than one day where it's not looking as good as it should. So consistency. So Debbie, I want you to consistently, every morning, focus on what kind of a day you're going to have. I'm doing a little office work while I'm talking to you, so forgive me for getting some stuff done. I'm multitasking. But Debbie, consistency-wise, I want you to make up your mind before you get out of bed in the morning, you're going to have a kick-ass day, and you're going to be successful. And then when you jump on the scale, no matter what the number is, you've already made up your mind, okay? And it's not going to bring you down as bad. So let's just write off today as whatever it is and just let it go. Let those bad feelings go. You've had them, acknowledge them, and then put them behind you, and let's keep moving forward. So consistency, that's a great thing. If you're losing weight, a great way to start in the morning is make up your mind you're going to have an amazing day, and that number, whether it's going down or going up a little bit, that's not going to affect your overall feeling about the day, all right? Consistency in terms of how we eat. You want to find stuff that works. I talked about this yesterday. The replay is still up, so if you want to go back and look at what video I put up yesterday, you want to be really serious about how you eat. Eat like you mean it. Eat like your life depends on it, because it does. Surprise, surprise. So we can actually modify our body composition by eating in a certain ratio. A third of your calories from protein, a third of your calories from carbohydrate, and a third of your calories from fat. And then once we've established that, we need to start eating that way consistently. You may have a day where you go out and have some fun with your friends. You may have a day where you have a big date with somebody. 2 glasses of juice before I scale. Cool. So that might have added some mass to what we were weighing. So you're weighing your body and 2 glasses of juice. Yeah. I don't know if that would be a kilo, but maybe, you didn't go to the bathroom before you jumped on the scale. Maybe you had a full bladder or whatever. So don't let one day knock you down, because you've got an entire life ahead of you to keep making progress. And one day, in the grand scheme of things, isn't that important. How you feel emotionally is more important. So if you're feeling positive, positive things will come out of that. If you're feeling negative, then negative things can only come out of that. You can't make positive from negative. It just doesn't happen. So in terms of consistency,
figure out how to eat, figure out what works for you, and then eat that way consistently. And if you're eating that way consistently once a day, yeah, that's how sumo wrestlers put on mass, is they eat one big meal a day. So if we can eat 3 or 4 regular sized meals, depending on how your body responds to that. Sometimes our stomachs are a little unused to having meals in them throughout the course of the day. So Debbie, I would recommend starting out, just have a little meal for breakfast, a little meal for lunch, a little meal for dinner, and then we'll start trying to build those up. If you're trying to lose weight, I'd like to see you eat a larger breakfast, a regular sized lunch, and then a small dinner. And that'll set you up for burning calories throughout the day and then fasting while you sleep. That way when you wake up, you're ready to eat again, you'll have an appetite, and you'll be nourishing yourself and getting the fuel you need to have a fantastic day. It didn't work for you in terms of eating breakfast, or give me some more information on that, Debbie. What didn't work for you? Because you're a human being, and this stuff works for just about everybody. If you have some kind of a health condition, let me know. You don't have to share it here online, but you can email me if you want, and we can go a little more in depth on that. But in terms of consistency, I'm talking to Debbie about nutrition. We can also talk about in terms of habits. So I'm historically, I've been an asshole my whole life, and I've been working on that the last 5 years, turning that around. So I'm a better husband, a better father, a better community member, a better coach. And so I'm making a habit, consistently making a habit of giving myself a little time. When something happens, I give myself a little time to decide, do I do the asshole route or do I do the cool guy route? I didn't eat breakfast, normal lunch, and a little dinner. So are you saying that not eating breakfast is what's not working for you, or does breakfast not work for you, Debbie? Because if we can get you eating a regular-sized breakfast, and it may take a year to get to the point where your stomach can handle a regular-sized breakfast, a couple eggs, some protein, some healthy fats, and maybe some vegetables for breakfast. It may take a while to get there, but it's a great place to get to. Once you get there, you're setting your day up for success. You're not going to be hungry during the midday. You're not going to be starving by the time you get to lunch. You're going to feel great, and you're going to eat a regular-sized lunch. And then by the time you get ready to go to bed, you'll have had a small dinner, your stomach will be comfortable, and you'll be good to sleep all night. So I'm still not sure where you're at with what's not working, Debbie, but I'm here to help you. Let me know. And if you want to send me an email, dan@cooperstowncrossfit.com. If you're not seeing my email in my profile, it should be in my profile, but if it's not there, just contact me, dan@cooperstowncrossfit.com. Love to help you out. Consistency in terms of habits. So I've consistently started giving myself a couple seconds, if somebody says something that I'm like, well, that's obvious. Wait, so if I started to eat once a day and I lost weight, yeah, so you were losing weight, and we're not sure, was that just body fat? Was that muscle? What were you losing? It'd be really cool to figure it out. Is it considered as a shock? Yeah, you were probably shocking your system, like if my stomach shocked. That makes sense, because your stomach will adjust to what you're doing. And the interesting thing about our digestive system is it has a lot of nerve endings in it. So you have just about as many nerve cells in your digestive system as you have in your head. Then it will stop losing. Yeah, that's pretty standard stuff. So don't feel like you're doing anything wrong. Don't feel like you're doing anything unusual or that you're having unusual results. That's pretty normal. Our body will adapt, and then it'll balance itself out. So you may only eat one meal a day. Your body will adapt to that, and then you'll stop making gains. Right now, I'm getting leaner, but I'm actually eating more calories. And it's the types of calories that I'm eating. So I eat very little carbohydrate. The only time I eat carbohydrate is when I'm getting ready to train. About an hour before I exercise, I'll have some protein and some rice. And this is just, I've been doing this, I've been training since I was 12 years old. So what's that, 31 years. I wouldn't recommend starting out with protein and rice if you're just starting a meal plan. So, but for me, I'm eating more calories, but I'm getting leaner.
and it's the types of calories. So most of my calories, if I'm not working out, are going to be protein and fat. And then if I'm working out that day, about an hour before my workout, I'll have some protein and some rice. So I'm training about 3 days on, 1 day off. So I'm training between 5 and 6 days a week. And it's workouts that last anywhere from 5 minutes to 40 minutes. But right before my workout, I'll have some protein and some rice. The rest of my meals are mostly meat and fat. So I'll start with protein before workout. Yeah, you want a pre-workout, you want to have protein and some carbohydrate. If you do well with rice, put in some rice. I would try to steer clear of other grains like wheat. That's pretty bad stuff. And grains such as that. But rice, if you can get some white rice, doesn't have to be anything fancy. Just boil up some white rice. That's a tongue twister. And then if you can eat it cold. I'm not really worried about the gluten thing. I do know that that's a big issue for a lot of people. But just historically, I know that with my mind, I get a little foggy-headed if I have some wheat. And so I avoid wheat all the time. I don't eat any of it. And it's not really a gluten issue. My stomach never really had any issues digesting it. But I did notice a big difference in my mentality and how I would treat people. So Debbie, if you can get some real healthy fats early in the morning, you probably won't want a snack. Fat burns really slowly. You metabolize it really slowly. And if your body gets in the habit of using fat for fuel, yeah, gluten definitely affects the brain. Thanks, TNK. That's a great point. You don't snack, but sometimes. Yeah, that's understandable. So if we're having some healthy fats in the morning, like I'll have 3 or 4 eggs for breakfast, a half or an entire avocado, and some tuna fish or some sardines, I've got enough healthy fat in there that 2 o'clock in the afternoon I'm like, oh geez, I better eat lunch. And this is a guy that if you ask my parents, the entire time when I was growing up, they thought that I had a bottomless pit because I was eating every 30 to 45 minutes. I was in the kitchen grabbing something and stuffing it in my face. And it was usually grain products. A lot of stuff when I was growing up, they were saying eat high carb, low fat, and that's actually a recipe for getting sick, getting diabetes, unnecessary weight gain, bloating. There's also digestive issues with there. You can get Crohn's disease, other digestive diseases, and inflammation and things like that. So, does that make sense? So Debbie, if you want to drop me a line, just dan@cooperstowncrossfit.com. Give me an idea what your meals are, and I'll give you some ideas of how to turn it around and start you moving in the direction you want to go. Water issues. In reference to what, Rock Troll? How you doing, buddy? How's the pool? How's your training going? And are you feeling better at all? Let me know. I'm not sure what you mean by water issues. Are you holding water? Maybe there's a electrolyte imbalance. Maybe you're just holding on to too much water. Yeah, you're taking water pills. So the way our body uses water, you can drink water, but unless your cells are, I'm not sure if it's what the correct terminology is for it. We've got minerals and stuff. Does my company even allow that? It's my company. I can do what I want. So yeah, if you want to drop me a line, go for it. It's my company. I'm an independent businessman, and my whole goal in life is to see people get healthy. I see too many sick people. I live in a rural part of upstate New York, and I see people on a daily basis that when I was a kid growing up, you actually had to pay admission at a circus to see these people. They're very sick, they're very obese, and it doesn't have to be that way. And it's not a judgment against them, it's basically a judgment against the culture that we live in, the dietary recommendations that are absolute shit. It's killing us. So I really want to see that turn around. Yeah, so drop me a line, Debbie. It's my business. I'm here to help. Let me know what I can do. So I wanted to get on here and talk about consistency. I don't have a lot of time because I got another client coming in a couple minutes. But I wanted to be consistent with you guys, getting the information out there. But being consistent can translate into everything you do and can transform everything that you do. So once we learn how to eat, once we learn how to behave, Swimming's good. Taking it slow first couple of times, body wasn't happy, cramped bad. That's a great place to start rock troll. So do you see a difference now? You've probably been doing it a little over a week. I think that's when I first spoke to you. So hopefully you're starting to feel better. It's normal to be a little sore after you start a new training regimen, but stick with it. That's what we're talking about, consistency here. So my friend Rock Troll has an issue in his torso. Everything's really tight, everything's really sore, everything's really painful. And I think that he can fix himself or herself. I really don't know, Rock Troll, if you're a dude or a lady. So pardon me if I'm using the wrong terminology. But Rock Troll is doing some stuff in a pool, getting their body moving. And I think that's going to pay off in the short term and in the long term. Some more endurance, but muscle spasms. Okay. I'm really happy to see your endurance going up. That's fantastic. Rock Troll's a dude. Okay, dude. Awesome. So the endurance going up is fantastic. I'm sorry about the muscle spasms. It's the dystonia. Yeah. I think it could be nutrition related. If there's some inflammation, dystonia, in my understanding, is the fascia around our muscles. So all that connective tissue that holds our muscles and allows our muscles to slide and glide. That's where the GTG. Oh boy, yeah. Get some sleep, Debbie. That's another really easy way to start losing weight, is to get yourself on a regular sleep schedule. Yeah, T&K is a great point. I think the flexibility will come with movement. Just doing stretching without moving the body can be detrimental. So I'd like to see the movement happens first and then the stretching in advance. Yeah, so Debbie, the sleep piece is huge. Try to get yourself, I don't know what you're sleeping now, but try to get yourself 8 hours of sleep. And if you're training, exercising, try to get it 9 or 10. So this is all about you. And give yourself that permission to take that amount of time. You know, whether you're going to school, whether you're a parent, whether you're, you know, whatever you're doing, give yourself the permission to take care of yourself first. Yeah, not quite. Yeah, still pretty flexible, not quite split level. Yeah, so Rock Troll, I think that movement piece is going to be huge for you. And then look into some myofascial release, either with a therapist or with some foam rolling. Check out mobilitywod.com. There's a great guy named Kelly Starrett that has a ton of great information. Because I'll be up at 11 or 12. Start my meal. Okay. Yeah, so depending on what your schedule is, see if you can give yourself 8 hours minimum. And it may take you a couple months to get to 8 hours. So what I'd recommend is before you go to bed, like 2 hours before you go to bed, start dimming the lights, turn off the screens, turn off the TV, turn off the phone, stop watching Periscope, and give yourself 2 hours to just wind everything down, and then lay down in bed. And if you don't fall immediately asleep, I would put on a podcast or a guided meditation, something to help you focus and stay in that bed. Don't let yourself out of that bed. And say you only sleep for 6 hours. Stay in that bed for that entire 8-hour period. Eventually your body will be like, oh yeah, I'm here, I'm going to sleep. And so you sleep for 8 hours. If you start training in addition to your nutrition, then you're going to need 9 hours of sleep. So, but that's a great place to start making gains in your body composition. If we're not getting enough sleep, we'll start packing on the pounds, which is not fun unless you're a really skinny person and you do want to pack on the pounds. So it's a great strategy if you need to put on some mass. But I just want to get on here, be consistent with you guys, and just say consistency is a huge key to making the progress that you want to make and reaching your goals. So Debbie, yeah, don't be sad, don't be upset at yourself. This is all brand new stuff to you. So cut yourself some slack and give yourself the permission to put yourself first and foremost, okay? If you're not giving yourself 100%, you're not going to be able to give anyone else 100%. So I hope that the sound quality was good on this. I've got to get going. I got a bunch of stuff to do. But just wanted to stay consistent with you guys, and I'll be on again tomorrow. We can talk more about consistency, or I may have something else in my head. Go for it, Debbie. fantastic. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys giving me the hearts. I appreciate you guys giving me some feedback. This is a lot of fun for me. And I wish you all the best out there. Have a fantastic day, and let's start being consistent, and we'll reach our goals together. I'll talk to you tomorrow.